see if the ring light is not going to be a problem. Not really. Hey guys, tell me if you can hear me. I'm using my phone, so I'm not really sure if you can hear me. I'm not really sure if you can hear me. So I don't like this light. Let's see. Yeah, I think this is much better. This is much better. All right, welcome to the live, everyone. Yeah, I'm glad that people were able to join even before we started. So this is good. This is good. I'm doing great. I'm doing great. I've always felt like antinatalism is a very interesting, guys. Let's like the life. I want this to be one of the best lives that we've ever done, and it's about antinatalism. Like when I started this channel, I was talking a lot about antinatalism, so let's like this life. I think antinatalism is a very interesting philosophy. If a person decides themselves that, you know what, man, look, I've been here, I've seen how things work. um I don't think that is the best idea for me and for everyone else really to have children, right? Based on what I've seen here, it seems wrong to actually have children. Because here's the thing, we live in a pronatalist society. We live in a society where everyone is encouraged to have children, right? Everyone in this society is encouraged to have children. It doesn't matter if you are poor. It doesn't matter if you are blind. It doesn't matter if you are disabled and you can't do anything for yourself. It doesn't matter if you don't have a job. It doesn't matter if you are homeless. It doesn't matter if you can't take care of your children. Maybe you don't have time to take care of them. None of that matters. Everyone is encouraged to have children, and most of the problems that we have as a collective, and I think a lot of people don't even realize this, most of the problems that we have as a collective are actually caused by the fact that a lot of people don't know if they should be having children or if they should not be having children, right? If people only had children when it actually made sense for them to have children, if they really feel like this world is worth it, right? Because some people can feel that way. They can look at the world and be like, you know what, it's good to have children in this kind of world. But yeah, if people knew when it actually did make sense for them to have children, I think we'll not be having a lot of problems that we're having. Like most of the problems that we're having are caused by the fact that people will be having children even if they shouldn't be at all, right? And their children end up suffering because of them, and they don't even want to take accountability, you know? Like when your children are suffering, you don't feel like, hey man, look, it's my fault. I was irresponsible. I should have thought, I should have thought more about the implications of having children. They don't look at it that way. They just feel like they've done their children a favor. I was having a conversation with someone last week about what really went wrong in our country. I was telling them that when Nelson Mandela said that if um, a child is born and maybe the mother doesn't work, or both the mother and the father do not work, they should be given money every month. What we should have encouraged people is to actually find jobs, start their own businesses so that they can be able to, right, take care of their kids. Not that they should rely on government. Like government should actually be giving them money every month. Like that's where things actually went wrong, because people felt like they were free to just have children. Like even if I don't have money, the government is going to give me money every month. So what happened is that people continue to have children. People continue to have children without thinking twice about the implication of having children. What Nelson Mandela should have said is that, hey, look, if you know that you're not ready to have children, as you can see, the things that we've actually went through as a country, let's try to create jobs. Let's try to let's try to balance everything first. You know what I'm saying? But that's not what he said. So people just started having children left and right, left and right, left and right. Now a lot of people are unemployed. The born freeze, the people who were born after 1993, people who were born in 1994, they're unemployed. If you go out in the street, it's just people who are unemployed. They don't know what to do, bro. We're talking more than 60% of young people who are unemployed. It's weird to me that if you say that you don't want to have children because things ain't really working out in the world, people think you're crazy. I'll be like, how can you think a person is crazy if they are thinking for everyone else? You get what I'm saying? Like, this is not just about me. This is also about my child. Do you understand how easy it is to have a child as a guy and abandon their child? I know guys who'll be bragging. They're not taking care of their children, right? But they are bragging every day that they have children. Find that a guy is bragging to his friend, like, yeah, I have a child. My child is in Pretoria. The child is being taken care of the parents of the girlfriend, of the ex-girlfriend, because she wouldn't even want to be with him anymore after that. So it's very easy for guys to have children and abandon them. So if a guy says, you know what, I'm not going to have children for philosophical reasons, I don't. It's weird that society doesn't respect that, right? It's crazy to me that society doesn't respect that. But yeah, antinatalism is a very interesting philosophy, man, because almost everywhere you go, people when they have children, they are praised, right? Like if you have a child, like people will say congratulations, there'll be baby showers and all of that, everywhere. But if you say, no, I'm not having a children, no one is gonna come and be like, yo, man, actually, I'm glad you think like that, you actually deserve a gift. I remember there's this episode of How I Met Your Mother. It's a very funny episode actually. There's this guy, just that I forgot his name because I haven't watched the show in a long time. But he didn't want children for real. But he liked women. He had women. He was like a womanizer, but he didn't want to have children. So one day he had unprotected sex with this lady, and somehow he felt like she was pregnant. So he prayed to God that, Ish, God, if you can get me out of this, if you can ensure that I don't have a child, I think he made a deal with God, like when he was praying. I don't remember what the deal was, and then he ended up starting this thing. He had been, I think it was he was mad that they only have like they have a Father's Day, right? They don't have like a happy not being a Father's Day, right? They have a happy Father's Day. They don't have a happy not being a Father's Day. So he started that on his own. He was like, you know what? We should celebrate people who don't have children. I thought it was a very interesting episode. So he recruited a bunch of guys who don't have children, and yeah, they kind of like celebrated, because the thing is, we are not celebrated for the way that we think. And I think if the way people like us, society will be like, it will be much like 10 times worse than it is. Can you understand? If every person was having children, like a lot of people were having children without even, you know thinking about the economic state of the world, I mean the country, the world itself, and the challenges that people are facing in the world, like it will obviously be worse, right? So I think internatalists should give themselves more credit than they're giving themselves, right? If you decided on your own that, you know what, man, even if maybe someone made you think this way, but if you decided that, you know what, I'm not going to bring a child into this world. Yes, children can make me happy. It's possible, guys. Let's keep on liking the life. I want this to be one of the best lives that we ever, like, this has to be a good life, so let's keep on liking the life. If a person says to themselves that, you know what, man, maybe children would make me happy, right? Because that's what a lot of people would say, right? Like, children will make you happy. Like, you have never really lived life until you have a child. Like, a child can change your life. you know I'm choosing not to bring someone into this world just for that. If I'm unhappy, maybe that's my parents' fault, I don't know. But I am not gonna put someone through the same things that I've went through just to feel better. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna bring someone into this world for my marriage to work, or because I'm trying to trap my boyfriend, or I'm trying to, back when we were growing up, when like one of our friends got a like really good looking girl, we'll be like, yeah, you have to knock her up, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that she'll be yours forever. That's how we used to think. Like, it's just a, like, if you can decide that, you know what, man, even if having a child can change my life for the better, I am not putting someone through this. Like, you should give yourself more credit. I don't think internatalists are giving themselves enough credit. I've seen a lot of videos where internatalists, maybe they talk to people in the street. You'll find that maybe they're not that confident, right? It's like the ones who are confident are the people who don't think deeply about life itself. You get what I'm saying? Like, maybe you should give yourself more credit as an inner natalist, you know? And that's what I've been learning my whole life, because I felt like I wasn't really like taking pride in the fact that I decided that I'm not going to bring a child into this world. And the fact that I've actually realized that it's actually not a good idea, looking at what people are going through. You can't blame a person for not wanting to have children if a lot of people that are in this world are suffering. You know that a lot of people are suffering, and they don't really have a way out. It's not like there's an easy way out. You know, I was having a conversation with someone online. When was it? I think it was on Tuesday. Yeah. I was like, one of the biggest reasons why governments are afraid to legalize assisted suicide is because they know that a lot of people, if it was made easier for people to just choose death, they will choose death. Like, a lot of people will die. That's how bad things are in the world. People do wake up in the morning and just think of ending things, but they just keep on going because it's hard. You know what I'm saying? So they're fighting to want to be here and to enjoy being here, because it's much harder to, to do the opposite. But if it was made easier, what do you think will happen? So countries are afraid to legalize assisted suicide because of that, because they know that a lot of people are tired. So if they say, well, it's easy, you just go and sign somewhere and they give you maybe 3 months to, think about your decision, because it's a big decision, you know what I'm saying? People would, I'm telling you, people will be like, yo, this is my way out. So that tells you that there are a lot of problems in this world that we're not even addressing. You see, if you were in a relationship that was not good and your partner threatened you for leaving, like your partner told you straight up that, listen, if you decided to leave, I will hunt you down and I will do the worst things possible to you, you know that something is wrong with that relationship. But if you're free to leave, but you don't leave and you don't even think of leaving, then that's a beautiful relationship, right? So if you are not given the option to leave, like that option to leave is not there at all. You can't leave. You have to be in the relationship. Obviously, there's a problem. You gotta have the option to leave, but decide not to leave. But in this world, you don't have that option. Do you see? It tells you how bad things are. If things were good, no one would even think of ending things at all. People would just be like, let's continue to enjoy. Let's continue to love life. Let's continue to explore. Let's continue to be happy. Let's try to find new ways to be happy. You know what I'm saying? Yesterday I was watching just that I don't like watching movies anymore these days, man. But yesterday I decided to watch Avatar 2. And the funny thing is that I waited for that movie for a very long time. I've watched Avatar and I loved it. So I kept on Googling whether they're gonna release Avatar 2 or not, because I thought it was a very interesting movie. When they released it, I don't know, I just didn't want to watch it. But yesterday I decided that let me watch it, and I thought, like, everything looked beautiful, right? And I was like, you know what, this, because people don't, like, sometimes people don't believe that we can truly be happy if we don't know suffering, right? We can truly be happy if we don't know how it's like to be sad and all of that. But when when I look at those aliens having fun, swimming. They're swimming in a very beautiful sea. They're living together. They don't have like these problems that we're having. They're not slaves. You know what I'm saying? They're not waking up in the morning and go to work, a job that they hate. They're just enjoying. They're flying. They have these birds that I don't even know if I should call them birds, but they they're these big birds that they can climb, and these birds will fly, and they connect with these birds. I thought it was beautiful until the humans started war with them. Humans are always humans, but they always want to ruin things for stupid reasons. I was like, you cannot tell me that is not fun. You cannot tell me that if you were born in a world like that where there were no problems and people are just focusing on having fun, that's it. you will have a problem. You'll be like, I'm sad. I don't know what sadness is, so I'm not really happy. This doesn't feel like happiness. No, it will feel like happiness, right? But obviously something is wrong. So that's why these people don't feel happy. And the worst part is that no one can even tell you what life is. That's the worst part. So they bring children here, and their children go through a lot. To me, it kind of feels like sacrifice sometimes, and that's the reason why I don't want to bring my child here, man. Like, I can imagine looking at my child, like my child maybe is 5 years old, and he or she has to go to preschool. I can imagine looking at the sadness in their eyes. Maybe they're unable to connect with other kids, like they have to deal with a lot. Because once you come here, and thanks for the super thanks. Can't say the name correct, man. Like, the eyes. But I can imagine, man. Like, so this kid goes to preschool, and they meet new people, the other kids, and some of the kids are mean, some of the kids are cool, some of the teachers are mean, some of the teachers are cool, and they have to go through that, and all for what? What are they really learning, bro? And then grade R, primary school, and it keeps on going like that. It keeps on going like that until maybe they reach the age of like 20, 25. They're done with school, period. They're done with school. They're done with everything that's related to school. Now they gotta get a job, and they gotta work for a company that they don't like, dealing with people in general. Like, bro, I would feel sad. I remember I saw this video on TikTok. It was a video that was showing a person's life, like from the point when they are born and the point when they die. Like, it was sad. It's like, okay, you're born, maybe the first 4 years of your life, your parents are taking care of you, but after that, you go to school and you have to, you know, deal with a lot, and then you get a job, and then you retire, and then you can't really do much. Even if they're giving you money every month, it's not even a lot. You can't really do much with the money, and then boom, it's over. You end up dying. It's sad. It's a sad life. We don't I think sometimes we don't really think about how sad life is. You know what I'm saying? Guys, let's keep on liking the life. Like I said, this has to be one of the best lives that we ever done. So let's keep on liking the life. I want more and more people to join. That is a very sad life. Like, how many people live lives that are actually meaningful? You are 80. You look back and you're like, I have lived. Right? You just, like, you look back and you're like, dude, I have lived. How many people can say that? A lot of people, when they are about to die, if you ask them if they wasted their life, they'll tell you they have. And if and if they could have done things differently, they'll say yes, they would have tried to do things differently, but the world doesn't make it easy for people to live lives the way that they want to live their lives. You know what I'm saying? So yes, people could wish that they would have done things differently, but the world would have forced them to be like everyone else, to live lives that are totally meaningless. People say, oh, you create your own meaning, but how do you create meaning out of this nonsense, right? How do you create meaning? You cannot create meaning from being a slave. You don't create a meaning that way. You create a meaning if you're living your life the way that you want to live it. You have enough power to make things happen the way that you want things to happen. You can create meaning if you're free. If you are told what to do, maybe directly or indirectly, you can't really create meaning because you are owned by someone else. That person that's telling you what to do, how to think, how to feel, all of that, that's the person that owns you. So how do you create meaning? Are you even, this reminds me of a song by Steve Oiki. It's an EDM song. Are you living your life or just waiting to die? Right, it's the name of the song. Very beautiful song. I think it's called, what is it called actually? Okay, I forgot the name of the song, but that's what they say. If you want to search it, just search, "Are you living your life or just waiting to die?" I thought it was a very nice song, but there was also something true that it was making us realize as people, like, are we actually living our lives or just waiting to die? Are we really living? Are we really creating meaning out of this? Are we really having fun? Is this making sense? Are we making this worth it? Oh, we're just here doing what we're told to do. We're being controlled. They control the economy, they're controlling us. They control the education system, they're controlling us. They're controlling the media, they're controlling us. So you're not living your life for you. You're not enjoying this. So I can imagine looking at my kid, bro, having to go through this. I'll be like, dude, I've already went through this. I already knew this wasn't good. I already didn't love this. So I can imagine my child having to go through all of that. Some people think that their lives will be maybe worth, like they don't feel like their lives are worth it if maybe things were going their way. Like, okay, let's say you are a very attractive person, maybe as a guy women like you, or people in general, they like you, it's easy for you to get a job. But I'm telling you, if you reach the age of 80 and look back, all of that doesn't, it's kind of like meaningless. Let me tell you why it's all meaningless, right? If I'm loved because I'm attractive, I'm not really loved for me. I was just lucky enough to look good in a way that's attractive to people and people are treating me well. But what is it saying about life itself? Right? Because if I'm loved because I'm attractive, that means that there are people who are hated because they're unattractive. They are not getting any love because they're unattractive. So is that really meaningful? Can I find meaning in that? I'll be like, oh, they love me. I'm attractive. I'm more attractive than everyone. They love me. It's like, no, there's no meaning in that. It's just nonsense. You know? Once you mature, you look back, you be like, that's all meaningless, bro. I wasn't loved for me because here's the thing, anything could happen. You know what I'm saying? I could get hit by a car and then my face changes and then now everyone doesn't love me. So is that the game? Is that a meaningful game that we're playing here? If we are living in a world where we're controlled, you being attractive, you being loved by people, you being charismatic, all of that doesn't really matter. What would matter is us being free enough to truly express ourselves the way we want to as humans, right? As a collective, but also as individuals. So you are so damn free to truly be who you want to be. You see, you're not controlled by the economic state of your country. You're not controlled by those who are in power, those who are making rules for you, laws for you, and all of that. You are making your own decisions. You are free. That's what will actually make this meaningful, if it was possible to create meaning out of this. But you can't, bro. Like, listen, and I need to put this right. I can create meaning out of I like playing snooker, so I can create meaning out of that. But it's not a deep enough meaning to justify existence itself. Does that make sense? So to be able to create a meaning that is deep enough, I must be totally free in every way. Some people will say something like, yeah, you create your own meaning. Yes, everyone create meaning every day. But what is the meaning that we're creating deep enough to justify this? You can create meaning out of everything, but it's the meaning that you can create deep enough to justify this. We need to be honest with ourselves about the kind of world that we found ourselves in without trying to color anything, just pure honesty. Like, yo, man, uh, we found ourselves in a world that we we don't really understand, right? And there are a lot of things that we deal with as sentient beings in this world. How how should we be? How should we think? What makes sense? How should we live life? You know what I'm saying? Like, it needs to start there, and people don't think like that. I do believe that a person becoming an internatalist, that comes from intellectual honesty, is them being intellectually honest. It doesn't have a lot to do with what people think. Like, oh, a person has struggled. Listen, people struggle. There are people who have struggled more than you. Let's say you're an internatalist, right? You decided that you don't want to have children. Listen, there are people who have struggled more than you who still had children. If you think it's because you're weak, listen, there are people who are weaker than you, if you think you're weak, who still had children. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with your your intellectual honesty, you being intellectually honest, you not lying to yourself. And that's what the world needs. It's intellectual honesty. It's people stopping lying to themselves. It's like, what the heck are we benefiting from lying to ourselves? If a person asked me, why Benedictine, why do you decide that you're not going to have children? My answer will always be simple. I am not going to have children because I don't understand the world that I'm in. I don't understand what is really going on. I don't have a lot of power here. You know, even if I do, I don't know how to use the power that I have yet. Maybe I'll be able to figure that out, but I don't know yet. I don't want to look at my kid and feel sorry for them. I don't want to feel sorry for my kid. I don't want my kid to cry. I don't want my kid to suffer, to get sick. I don't want my kid to get bullied. You know what I'm saying? I don't want my kid to die a horrible death. There are a lot of crazy things that happen in this realm. I don't think it's worth you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think having, like, okay, I do understand that um, as humans we feel like existence is better than non-existence, like, in general. Like, I mean, I don't really feel that way, but a lot of people do feel that way. But I don't think this is worth it. Like, this is like this, it would be a good thing for me to just bring someone who's not even here and make them experience this. I don't think it's worth it, right? To drag someone from wherever they are, like, come here, come and experience what I'm experiencing. Like, I don't think that is good. I don't think um I don't think I will be able to live with myself if I've done something like that to another person. And I'm not saying if you've already done that, you should regret it. I just feel that I was lucky enough to realize what I've realized before I had a child. Remember, growing up, I always thought I was going to have a child. The reason why I didn't have a child when I was young is because, well, I was broke. I didn't have money. I didn't grow up in a family that had things. In my family, we didn't have a lot. So I knew it would have been a better idea to have a child. My friends had children when we were still in high school. I made sure that I don't have a child. And then, as I got older and realized that a lot of things that I believed about the world are not true. When you're still in high school and you've never really seen the real world and how it actually works, you think that life is all sunshine and it's all sunshine and rainbows, right? Like, things will just work out. Like, there's no way you just suffer and not even have hope. Like, no, things will actually work out. That's what you end up believing. But as you get older and you go through life, you're like, damn, life is so damn unforgiving, bro. Like, you can go through hell. Like, you can go through many traumatic experiences, and it can be something that continues, right? You find that no matter how hard you try, things just don't work out. Like, we like to blame people who are not successful for not being successful without realizing that everyone wants to be successful and they will do whatever they can to be successful, but it has to do with how limited they are. Some people don't have enough information. A kid that went to a private school and a kid that went to a private school, they do not, like, if you were to compare them, you'd see the difference. I remember when I was still working as a teacher, um, one of my colleagues came with her daughter. Her daughter was 8. No, 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 9. I think. Yeah, she was 9. The things she knew, she went to a private school. The things she knew, if you compared her intelligence with like the IQ with the IQ of grade 7 students, I'm talking about students who were like 13, 12, 13. The 9-year-old was still ahead. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it does matter how you experience life. It does matter what you have. It does matter where you learn. You know what I'm saying? All of that counts. But we like to pretend as if it doesn't. And again, even if everyone was um, operating at the same level of intelligence and they knew the same things, there will still be winners and losers. There was no other way. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you put two fighters in an octagon and they fight, right? There will have to be a winner. There will have to be a winner. You know, um, this reminds me of these two fighters, Max Holloway and Dustin Poirier. When they fought the first time, Dustin Poirier won. When they fought the second time, Dustin Poirier, I think, yeah, he won. And then when they fought the third time, Max Holloway won. So there will always be a winner in life. So even if you are everyone is equal, there will have to be losers and winners, and it will all be based on luck. It won't even be based on hard work. Everyone will try to be as prepared as possible, so it will have a lot to do with luck. Who's better that day, who's more healthy that day, who's faster than that day, who's in a better mood that day. You know what I'm saying? But also, who threw the right punch at the right time, and you find that maybe it was a random punch and boom, knocked the other guy out. So there will be winners, there will be losers in this realm, no matter what. So sometimes someone being a loser doesn't even have to do with them not doing the right things or not being good enough. It just has to do with how the realm works. It doesn't want that kind of balance where everyone is okay. It wants there must be left, there must be right, there must be good, there must be bad, there must be winners, there must be losers. It's the kind of game that human beings are forced to play, right? We don't work together as a collective to do something that's gonna put us in a better place as a collective. People just want to win as individuals. So I don't see this realm as the kind of realm that I would wanna bring my child in, man. It will be very difficult for me to forgive myself, man. I think no matter how hard I try, it will be very difficult for me to forgive myself. Let's keep on liking the life, guys. I'll be back in less than a minute. Let's keep on liking the life. Like I told you guys, like I want this to be one of the best lives that we've ever done. There's a lot that we're still gonna talk about. But when I started this channel, my focus was antinatalism, bro, because I see a lot of truth in that philosophy. It's still like every video that I make, whether people realize it or not, it comes from that feeling that creating new lives is wrong, right? It comes from that feeling. So even if I'm not specifically talking about antinatalism, I am talking about it. So let's take a small break. I'm coming back now. I'm back, guys. I'm back. I think there's 53 people watching. Can you imagine if everyone liked this life? Like that would actually be a beautiful thing. Um, it's very weird to me that almost every person that I've had a conversation with about about not having children, right? Like why I don't want to have children. Almost every person that I've had a conversation with about that never really understood why. Even when I tell them, like you tell a person that I don't want to have children because I think this world is full of suffering. But also, even if it wasn't full of suffering, bro, like how can I say that I'm right if I'm making someone experience something that they didn't ask to experience? You see, this is not the kind of world like where you can just like if you just wanted like if you wanted this experience to stop, you just do this, you just snap your fingers like Thanos. No, you will have to deal with a lot. You're dealing with people with different beliefs. There are people who will make you feel guilty. Let's just say, for an example, you're gay, right? There are people who make you feel guilty for being gay and who will abuse you for being gay and who will bully you for being gay. We're talking about parents also who will not be able to accept you. I've always wondered why people would choose to have children if they know they can have children. I mean, gay children, and they end up not accepting them. You're like, what did you expect, dude? Like, that is possible. It's possible to have a gay child. You, you don't know what kind of child you're going to have, but then you end up not accepting that child and you end up abusing the child. That's absurd, right? It never made sense to me. It never made sense to me when like some people thought that it's being a coward if you decide that you're not going to have children because you're afraid that they might have a bad experience. And you're like, listen, you are having children because you want your life to be better. You're not having children because you are this person who cares about something more than themselves. You're like, no, I just care about the survival of my species, and I want, and I want to take care of someone from when they are young, and sacrifice everything for them and all that. Like that's not even how you be thinking. You want a child because you want to feel good. It's all about you. You wouldn't have a child if you didn't want to have a child. That's what a lot of people don't want to admit. Like you don't have a child because you are a good person, you are this kind person. No, you're having a child because you want to have a child, right? That's the reason. But an antinatalist would say something like this: maybe I do want to have a child, or I would have liked to have a child, but I think this world is bad. So an antinatalist has a better position. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like being able to say it's not just about me, it's also about the child. I'm also thinking for the child. Maybe I have money, I'm good, I'm well off, but still I'm thinking about the child. I can take care of the child. I have enough money to be able to take care of the child without having to do much. Maybe I can even employ a nanny or whatever. But no, I'm still not going to, because I don't think we are in a world that is actually good. This world is very unpredictable. Like things can happen, like anything can happen, bro. Women don't fear pregnancy at all. Why do you say women don't fear pregnancy? I remember there's this video that I watched yesterday on TikTok. So it was a video of it was a conversation between a man and a woman. So the woman was asking the man that, oh, what's the worst pain to experience? Is it getting kicked in the nuts or childbirth? And the guy said it's getting kicked in the nut, because if you get kicked in the nuts, you never forget. It's not like if you get kicked in the nuts now, next year you'll be like, I want to get kicked in the nuts. Like you never forget the pain, right? But then with pregnancy, a woman will get pregnant this year, and then next year she gets pregnant again. So I thought that was funny, but obviously there was a joke. People get pregnant because most of the time, actually, and that's what I hate. Thanks for the super thanks. Just that I can't really read the comments right now because I'm kind of like far from the screen. But yeah, people get pregnant, like women get pregnant these days, trying to have fun. Like I don't know that many women who intentionally get pregnant. Like they just decided, you know what, I want to get pregnant. I'm just deciding now that I just want to get pregnant. Like it's rare. Even guys, when they knock a girl up, it's usually not their intention. They just want to have fun. Maybe they're having sex and the condom breaks. Oh, they're having sex and they feel like it would be much better if they remove the condom, and then the next thing, because they're taking risks. Basically, they know that sometimes they can have sex and they don't conceive, but it's usually not intentional these days. I think people are waking up, but they still feel like having children is a good thing, right? They're waking up, so they look at their own lives and be like, yeah, if I had a child, I would have a lot of problems. I'm not doing well financially right now, but they think others should have children, and they will praise others for having children. They will congratulate others for having children. You know, it's always been weird to me, man. It's always been weird to me. I think humans will do better if they were more honest with themselves. I think the truth is so bad that people just can't acknowledge it. Right? We're in a realm where the truth is so horrible that we rather lie to ourselves, and we worship those who lie to themselves the most. You know what I'm saying? We praise those who lie to themselves the most, and we make those who are real to seem weak. Like you're weak for being real, you're weak for being honest, you're weak for speaking your truth, you're weak for operating at a high level of consciousness. No, you're not. Not even close. Antinatalism will always be the final truth to me, bro. We have seen a lot in this realm. And most of the time when I talk about antinatalism, I'm just talking about the problems that we're facing as a collective. I'm not even being deeply philosophical here. I'm not even challenging people to think about what we are actually like, what we're actually experiencing. What is life? What is consciousness? Like, I can talk about antinatalism just like any antinatalist will talk about antinatalism, but I can also talk about antinatalism from a very deep from a very deep place, right? Like what is existence? Where do we come from? Why are we here? What is our purpose? And if we don't know what is actually going on, why do we feel that we must have children? It's like it never made sense to me, right? It's not different from getting kidnapped, bro, and put in a place you don't even understand the way the laws in that place. Like there's a lot that you don't understand. You don't understand why there is light. You don't understand maybe sometimes it rains. You don't understand why it rains. Like things just keep on happening, and you had the power to bring more people into that place, and on top of everything, you're suffering, right? It's not like you're having a nice time. Like a lot of things are happening, you're suffering, but you had the power to bring more people into that place. You're like, yeah, I'm bringing more people into the, like, no, that doesn't seem like the right thing to do. I don't think a person who will do that will be a very intelligent person, and will be a very thoughtful, like a person who can think for others. You have to first figure out what is going on to even decide to bring a child. What is actually going on? What are we supposed to be doing here? Right? What is the purpose of life? You need to figure that out first. Because if you don't figure that out first, it means you're going to be controlled by others. And you know the people in this world who have power will exploit those who do not have power. It's always been that way, bro. I've always hated it when I go to someone's house and the person maybe has a good job, maybe they're a doctor, a lawyer, or something like that, and they have a maid. Something that did never really like since I was a kid, that never made me feel good, right? Something about that just didn't make me feel good, you know, because it shows you how the world works. Those who are in power will always take advantage of those who do not have power. You might say, yeah, also the maid also wants a job, but just the fact that the world works that way sucks, you know. The fact that the world works that way sucks. So if we don't know what this is, and you know that a person can find themselves at the bottom and without any hope of like really, having a better life, you find that their life is just them waking up in the morning and going to clean someone's room, look after someone's baby. They can't even, care for their babies, actually, if they have babies. But like almost every maid I know, in fact, every maid that I know has babies. So they wake up in the morning and then they go and take care of other people's babies. It's not something that they really want, but they're forced to do that by life itself. So what do? You don't have money at all. So you just have to do that. It will make sense to have children if we understood what this is. If we really understood what this is. And people were free enough, you would tell that everyone is free in ways that they want to be. Right? They're not being controlled by others. And most of the people, not even most of the people, like everyone who's here actually appreciate being here, Like they're happy that they're here. That will make sense. But if we know that the majority of people who are here are stressing, they just keep on going. Do you know that there are people who keep on going because they don't want to make their enemies happy? I remember there's this guy who posted on Facebook that he was tired, he was done. Like it was over, like he's done. Most of the comments were from people who were saying that don't make your enemies happy. Yeah, the only thing that keeps people going is that they don't want to make their enemies happy. You know what it will be like? It will be like if you were competing with someone and you felt like giving up because you're losing and you're tired, right? And someone said, "Don't make your enemy happy." Like that's your motivation. It's like that tells you something, right? So there are people who keep on going because they don't want to make their enemies happy. There are people who keep on going because they will be embarrassed if maybe they just decided to give up, right? Like they'll feel like they'll be embarrassed even what I'm saying? Like that's the reason why they keep on going. They don't want to be embarrassed. They just think that they will feel embarrassed even though they won't really feel anything. So if the motivation is into have fun and explore, that should tell you something, Like there are people who just don't think their lives are going to change, but they just don't want to make their enemies happy. So should I bring my child into this realm where they will experience what they... It's a big no for me, man. I think not having children is like the best decision that I've ever made in my life, bro. And I remember when I first thought that I would not have children, like when that idea came into my mind, I was sitting alone and just thinking about life, and that idea crossed my mind. I was like, what if I don't have a child? Actually, I'm stressing myself about my future, my wife, and all of that. Who told me that I must have a wife? Who told me that I must have children? What if I didn't? I mean, I've already seen a lot in this realm. So what if I decided that I'm going to have children? And it just made sense. It just made sense. I found peace that day, thinking that, like, I was not feeling okay at all. But when I realized that it makes sense to not have children, I felt a deep sense of peace, bro. I was like, damn, this is it. Maybe this is what I was supposed to realize, right? This is something that I was not even thinking, but it's something that I was supposed to realize. And it just made sense. And from that point, nothing made me think that I've made a wrong decision. Sometimes when you make a decision, like maybe if you decide to leave a relationship, sometimes you feel like, but I shouldn't have left that relationship. Sometimes you doubt yourself. Sometimes you feel like, yeah, you shouldn't have made a decision. But I've never, since I've made a decision to not have children, I have never ever felt tempted to have children or felt like I made a wrong decision. There's never even been a part of me that felt like I might have made a wrong decision. It just feels totally right, and it makes complete sense to me. It's not something that I had to wrestle with. It's an idea that once that idea came to my attention, right? It brought me peace without any resistance. There was zero resistance. I just knew that this is really the life that I must choose without overcomplicating things, knowing what I know and having experienced what I've experienced. You know, like I can't give myself unnecessary responsibilities. Why should I give myself unnecessary responsibilities? Why must I fight for something that I didn't even agree to fight for? I didn't agree to fight uh, for my bloodline to continue or whatever. I didn't. You know what I'm saying? It can end with me. I'll be very happy. I would gladly let it end with me, without any problem, without zero regrets. You know what I'm saying? If I wanted children, I would actually be having more than 10, bro. I'm telling you. Like, if I actually wanted children, I would be having more than 10 children. Like, I would have been, like, even from when, let me say, from 2020 until now, I believe that I would have made more than 10. I'm telling you. As crazy as it sounds, if I really wanted children, I would have had more than 10. Like, it's, I know without a doubt in my mind that I've made the right decision, and I know that there will never be a point in my life when I'll regret this decision. Because some people will be like, no, you'll regret this decision. Imagine when you're older and we have grandchildren, we have children and grandchildren. I don't care. You can have grandchildren, you can have whatever. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, I will never regret not having children at all. There will never be a part of me that will make me regret having children. Like, I will just feel happy, bro. I've seen kids that are, if you ever seen a kid and you just like the kid, and they're just full of life, and I've seen kids like that, but that never made me feel like I must have a child. That never ever made me feel like I must have a child. I think some truth you can't really bullshit yourself out of. There's things that are just so true that you just can't bullshit yourself out of this truth. You're like, that is just true, bro. Like, I can't live a life that's not in alignment with that truth. It's just what is true. Why should I live a life that is not in alignment with that truth? You get what I'm saying? So not having children is really, really the best decision that I've ever made, bro. And I wish that we can have these conversations more and more. You know what I mean? Like, as we become more and more conscious as a collective, we can have these conversations. You know, because these are the conversations that the mainstream media doesn't want us to, you know what I'm saying? Like mainstream media doesn't want to cover these kind of topics. Like people who work for mainstream media companies, they don't want to cover these kind of topics. And if they do, they will only cover these topics if maybe there's something bad that has happened that relates to these topics, right? If you realize that, oh, if there is someone who says they don't want to have children, but maybe they cannot maybe they cannot articulate their thoughts very well, so they just want to make it seem like it's just a bad thing. You know, there's this movie that I've watched actually, and it's called What Happened to Monday, something like that. I watched this movie maybe in 2018, 2019. Yeah, I think it was 2019. There was this lady. I'm not sure if she was a president. I'm not really sure, but people were only allowed to have one or two children. But this guy had five children. They were all born at the same time. So there was five children, and they looked identical. So he gave them the names of the days of the week, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So the lady, she made sure that if a family has more than one child, then though they had this technology that would, I don't know if it will kill or whatever, but then they just wanted to have one child. So I was surprised that, because the movie had a good philosophy behind it, so I was surprised why they made the villain so bad that the villain had to kill the child, because the philosophy was right. That, listen, one person should only have, like, if one family should only have one children, why? There was overpopulation for real. Like, people couldn't walk in the street because the whole place was overpopulated. So she was right, but they made her a villain. Why? Because they want to make it seem bad for people to think rationally when it comes to these kind of situations. It's like, yeah, let people have as many children as they can, but the problem is things can become worse in the world, and life can become more and more meaningless, because the point of this is for it to work, right? I cannot have many children in the house, even if the house is small. So my children are sleeping on the floor. They don't even have their own space to breathe. You know, they don't even have enough blankets. When they wake up in the morning, they fight for food, and I look at myself as a good person. Like, no, I'm a horrible person. Why should I not be smart enough to realize that that's bad? And I decided, okay, let me just have one kid, because I live in a small house. If I want to have a kid, if that's really what I'm deciding. So they were trying to make people who think like that seem evil. So that's why they made that woman evil. But she made a lot of sense. You see, she made a lot of sense. So it's always been like that, bro. Like, they will always make people who don't want to have children seem bad, seem like villains, seem like they hate children, seem like they're crazy, or they don't know what they're doing. They make them feel like they will regret that decision. Like, no, you'll never regret that decision. If really you don't want to have children, you'll never ever regret that decision. Guys, let's keep on liking the life. I can see that we're on 51 likes. Let's keep on going. I'll be back in a second. Thank you guys for being patient. All right. Um, there was a problem with the network. I think I think my router had a problem, but we are back. We are back. We are back. We are back. You know, I'm not gonna leave a stream without saying goodbye. Like it'll, it'll never ever happen. Um, thank you guys for being patient. Um, like I said, like this has to be one of those streams where, we cover the topics that are actually related to this channel, right? It's not just about antinatalism, it's also about everything, really. You know what I'm saying? But I wanted to start with antinatalism because when I started with this channel, I was talking a lot about antinatalism. So every topic that I'll ever cover on this topic, trust me, it's somehow inspired by the philosophy of antinatalism, right? That's why I keep on encouraging people to think before having children. A lot of bad things that are happening in the world, trust me, they're happening because people do not think twice before they have children, right? They put their children in situations where they are desperate. You know what I mean? Like you find that your child is desperate because you put them in a situation where they're desperate, so they're no longer making the decisions that they will make. When people are desperate, they make bad decisions, right? See, they're no longer making decisions that they will make under normal circumstances. So you don't want that. You don't want to put your children through that, you know. So I think this is not, like most of the time when we talk about antinatalism, we talk about compassion, but I think it has a lot to do with critical thinking more than it has to do with compassion, you know. Like you developing compassion might actually be a direct response to your critical thinking, right? You think so critically that you are able to put yourself in everyone's shoes, right? You're so conscious that you can put yourself in everyone's shoes, right? You don't have a child and think, oh, I did my child a favor. My child now must worship me because I brought them into this world. You don't even understand what happens between you having sex and a child being born. You know what I'm saying? We just listen to what maybe they're telling, like, people who have studied biology are telling us, but it's not something that we know for sure. We only know what we think we know because of what they taught us. You know what I'm saying? You just sleep with a woman, she gets pregnant, a child is born. You know what I'm saying? We know too little to be continuing to do that, especially in a world that is not making a lot of sense to a lot of people. If this was making sense, then I will be able to understand, but it's not really making sense. It seems like we are cooked for real, you know. When I think about the children that are being born now and the challenges that they're going to face, I feel scared, you know. I actually feel scared because I've seen, I taught in high school. I've seen children, pass their grade 12 with good points and not be able to go anywhere. Like it's very hard to get to a university now because there's too many people, you know. Now to get to a university, you must, your point, you must have the highest points. When my parents got to university, like they didn't even have to have passed with high points, they just have to have passed. That's it. They will be able to get to university. They just have to have passed. But now they will check the points. They will count the points. How many points do you have? And they say, well, if you have less than 28 points, you can't get to university. But back then, but to pass, you don't even need 20 points. You need like 16 points to pass. You know what I'm saying? So you see that the competition is getting higher and higher every day. And not everyone will be able to keep up, because you know what's going to keep on happening, and this is what bothers me, right? Here's what's going to keep on happening. children will have to work way harder than we've worked. Why? Because there's too much competition now. So it will get to a point where children don't even have time to do the things that they want to do. Can you imagine? It will get to a point where children do not have time to do the things that they actually want to do. Because they will have to be studying 24/7. You find that your children are studying 24/7 because they're trying to perform better than everyone else. But we didn't have to do that. We had time to do our own things. But your children, because the competition is getting higher and higher, because people are having children left and right, it's going to get to a point where they have to be studying 24/7 just to keep up. Because if they don't get the points that are required in the university, because the universities will keep on raising the bar. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to make sure that everyone reach that bar. If they don't reach that bar, then they won't be accepted because there's too many people. It's like if as a woman, right, you are very attractive and there's many guys who want you, you're gonna be very choosy. So the ones that you're gonna choose will have to have a lot to offer, right? But like, well, you gotta have a good paying job. You gotta be earning. When you see this Instagram baddies saying that, yeah, I want a guy who's earning more than 100K a month, and you be mad at her. I mean, a lot of guys be chasing her and making her feel like she must, she must get that. Like you know what I'm saying? She deserves a guy who can, do everything for her because a lot of guys have been chasing her. So it's kind of like that. So university will say no. We need people who have more than 30 points now. If you have 25 points, we don't want you. You're not gonna help the university in any way. So it's gonna. That's why I'm telling you that the children that are being born, they'll go through a lot, and it's not easy to make money in this realm, bro. People have tried forex, they failed. People have tried betting, they failed. People have tried to like start maybe their own businesses, they failed. That's how hard it is in this realm. Like if you start something and it works, it's just luck. More than anything, it's luck. Let's keep on liking the live. We're on 59 likes. Let's keep on liking the live. Rich people winning in life. Yeah, sometimes it seems that way, man. But how many rich people do you know that you'll believe genuinely that they are happy? I think to truly be winning in life, or to feel like you're winning in life, you have to be genuinely happy. Like you must feel happy that you exist. You must appreciate the fact that you are here and you are having this experience. If you don't feel happy, if you don't appreciate the fact that you're here, I don't know if you can say you're winning, because what was the point? Yes, you can have it all, but if you're not happy, it means nothing. Like it means absolutely nothing, because you're not having an experience just for other people to say that you are winning or you have it all. No, you must be having an experience because you are enjoying it. Like that's the point of it. Is to enjoy it. It mustn't be about how it looks to other people. You mustn't enjoy something because other people think you're enjoying it. Do you get what I'm saying? And that's something that I've realized about a lot of people who have money, right? There's guys that I know who have money. They have many cars. They're always showing you their cars. Like, oh, I just bought this car. Look at how many cars I have. I have this car. I have this car. I have this car. All of these cars cost this money. And you're like, huh? Are you happy, dude? Because if you are happy, I don't know if you'll be doing that. It's kind of like that is the only thing that brings you something close to happiness. It's like you're so do you hear what I'm saying? Like you're so lonely that you just have to brag about what you have to feel something. Do you think people who are genuinely happy would want to show off? Hey, I have these glasses. This is Levi's, guys. This is Levi's. This is Levi's. You know how much this cost. Like, come on, that can't be happiness, bro. That can't be happiness. So they lie to you and they make you think that you're happy, and you think those who have money are winning in life. You only need to brag if you're happy. It doesn't make any sense. If you are happy, you wanna lay low, bro. You wanna lay low. You don't even want people to know that you have things. Why? Because you're gonna create enemies for yourself. But for you to even take that risk, it shows that you're not happy. You're not satisfied with how you're feeling. So you want to feel better when people are comparing you to other people who have money. So they're like, yo, this one is richer than this person. So that makes you feel better. So I think people should stop thinking that being rich would make things much better for them, unless you are extremely poor. Like, there's a certain level that you reach where you just have enough. You can afford the food that you want, you can afford clothes, you don't, as a human, you don't really need much at the end of the day. So once you reach that level, even if you became rich, it wouldn't change much. I remember I gave you this example. um Joe Rogan, after he kind of like made it, he grew up in a poor family, but he had talent. He knew how to uh he was stand up comedian, you know so it kind of like worked out for him. So when he got his first apartment and bought a good sound system, he had good couches and everything looked good, he felt like that would make him happy. Can you imagine, you walk around in a big city and you see people entering their apartments and you're like, if I had that, I'll feel better. But then he got that, and then a few months after having that, he was like, I feel the same way that I've always felt. Like, not much has changed. You get what I'm saying? Like, your mind will get used to that. Whatever you get, your mind will get used to it. So, so don't ever look at people who have things, who have nice cars, who have planes. You look at Putin, all that, those guys. You look at Trump. You're like, yeah, they're super happy. They're super happy. No, there's a reason why Trump puts himself under a lot of pressure. I mean, to become a president, bro, like, and even do things as a president, like, it shows you that instead of him enjoying his money, he wants to do so much more because he doesn't really feel satisfied. It's not like he doesn't know that he wouldn't be able to be the best president in the world, but because he knows that people will do a better job than him, but he doesn't feel satisfied. So he wants to at least be doing something that he feels is big enough to kind of like feed his ego. You know what I'm saying? So don't ever think people who have money are happier. It doesn't work that way, bro. Like, this realm have all of us trapped. All of us. Like, you know what I'm saying? There isn't a person who is doing that well in this realm. That's the thing. All of us are cooked, bro. So that's why I talk a lot about detachment. Like, yo, I just have to learn to detach myself from a lot of things, and that will help. If I can reach a point where, oh, now I need to even read the comments because I've been talking, bro. And the point of this is to talk to y'all guys. So, okay, Angie, I agree with you, but to be honest, we need to be delusional to survive. Yes, we think most people are dumb, but what if they also saw what we saw and got too scared and chose to act stupid? Um, I used to think that way too. I remember when I started to question Christianity, my mother said to me that it's not that other people do not think the way that you think, but they see that it's pointless. So they're like, let's not bother ourselves thinking that way. Let's just have fun. But there have been so many people that I was close to that I've wanted to have real conversations with about, like, because here's the thing. It's not like every day when I'm with people, I'm having deep philosophical conversations. No, I just live life, right? But there are times when I'm like, let's have a conversation about life itself. And when I try to have a conversation with people, I would see that they've never actually thought about the things that I think about at all, right? It's not that a lot of people think the way that you think and they're like, okay, this doesn't work, this is not going to help me, I'm just going to suffer if I think this way, and then they decide not to think the way that you think. No, 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 they just can't. Some people can't think the way that you think for real. So I used to think like that. I'll be like, oh, what if everyone can think the way that I think, but they choose not to because they realize that, well, it doesn't help, so they realize that ignorance is bliss, so they just chose ignorance. It doesn't really work that way. That's why they say that once you become enlightened, there's no going back, right? Like once you know, you can never not know. Someone tells you something, or once you become aware of something, you know. Let me give you a simple example. Let's say, okay, I have a gap in my, like, I have a gap here, right? There's a chance that you have not noticed that, but now that I made you notice that, it's not something that you're gonna forget. Now you're fully aware that I have. You know what I'm saying? You can never not know that I have a gap here. So it's the same with reaching high levels of consciousness. You can never go back. Even if you try to act stupid, it won't work. Easy. So no, they they just don't think the way that you do. The society has its own mind and it's an NPC mind. Yeah, it does feel like the world that we live in, uh it's controlled by non-player characters, and we are supposed to be like them. That's why I tell people to try their best to be themselves no matter what. Because it does feel like there are NPCs, bro. It does really feel like there are NPCs. If you don't believe me, you know what you must do? Go out, try to have conversations with people about life. Like anyone who's willing to have a conversation with you, try to have a conversation with them about life. Listen, stop talking about the weather, because people like having small talks. I know a lot of people like having small talks. Like they'll talk about the weather. Yeah, the weather is good today. Today is sunny. Like having small talks, right? So I'm not talking about having small talks. Like try to have real conversations with them about life, and you realize that, yeah, maybe there are NPCs in this realm, bro, and most people are actually NPCs. In Genesis, he said the water represents what? Chaos. I question a lot if I have depression or enlightenment. Um, you know what's interesting? A lot of people who told me they have depression, I mean, they never actually went to a doctor and they got diagnosed. I'm just talking about people who just say they have depression. It has been people who are able to think for themselves, who are able to think critically, who are able to see things as they are. You find that a person is actually telling you the truth, but they're saying they have depression, and you're like, telling me things that actually make sense here. It's not like you are telling me things that don't make sense and you're telling me you have depression. But you're telling me the truth. You're telling me things that other people don't see, right? So I don't understand. I don't understand how that works. Like you have depression and you think it's depression that's making you see things the way that you see things. But why are you seeing the truth? Right? Why are you actually seeing the truth? a lot of people who are too damn happy, bro, are people who would never gonna tell you how things really work. I was thinking how we can get these beings or God to come out of hiding and explain all this. I don't think that's ever gonna happen. I think if something like that uh, was to happen, it would have happened actually a long time ago. I think we've been through so much as a collective that it's unreasonable to believe that something like that can happen. Like God can just come out and be like, you know what, man, I messed up. I don't really like what's happening in the world, and I was trying to create this for fun and all of that, but this isn't what I wanted. I don't think that something like that will ever happen. And even if something close to that happened, we wouldn't really believe it. There's CGI now. We know about Project Blue Beam. Now we know they can create holograms. What can we actually believe now? Tell me, what can we actually believe? If Jesus came back, would you believe that he came back? Or do you become a conspiracy theorist? Like, no, that's not Jesus. That's someone that the government created because they coming up with this new agenda. Like, if Jesus was supposed to come back, he would have come back a long time ago. If God was supposed to explain to us what's going on, he would have explained to us what's going on a long time ago, because that's when we'll have believed. Now nothing is believable, bro. There are videos that you see online that you're not even sure if they were made using artificial intelligence, or if it's real videos that were recorded, or if they were made using CGI. You can never know. You know what I'm saying? You can't even be sure Benedictine is real, bro. What if I'm just AI? You know what I'm saying? This channel is not even real. What if that's possible? Like, I'm not even real. So you're watching someone who's not real. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think that if God wanted to talk to us, this would be the right time. You see, like, we wouldn't believe anything. So I don't think it will ever happen if there was a God. The fact that we could experience reality is scary as fuck. Yeah, it's true, man. The fact that you are conscious and that was possible in the first place is scary. But how did that happen? I can imagine a world where there's non-conscious beings that are doing things, right? You find that there's just chaos, there's no order. There are just things that are happening, but it's non-conscious beings that are having that experience, so they're not really experiencing anything. But you being conscious, you being self-aware, you knowing that you exist, you being able to suffer. If someone punched you in the face right now, you'd suffer. If you are sick, you would suffer. You know what I'm saying? That is actually scary, because we don't even know how to not be conscious. You don't know how to not exist, how to not experience. So you are always having this experience. Even when you sleep, you're continuing to have an experience. It's really, really scary, man. It's something that, like, when I think about it, like, when I think deeply about it, I feel this deep sense of, like, sadness. Like, what if I can experience this thing forever and there's no going back? Like, you can't just be unconscious. Like, you'll always be conscious. It's the scariest thing, bro. You're saying the giants try to help humanity. Why are they not appearing at the time that it truly matters? If there was something that wanted to help humanity, this is the time to help humanity. It's not. They shouldn't have tried to help us 5,000 years ago. Now is the time, and it's the time that it's actually easier to help humans, bro, because they could come and communicate with all of us at once. Understand? And that's the thing with what's written in the Bible, in all these other ancient books. These beings that we're told about were interacting with a few group of people, right? What if now they came back and they talked to everyone all at once and told us the truth, what is really going on, what we're supposed to be doing? Wouldn't that be beautiful than to hide from everyone? Try to read more if you want to learn about this stuff. Making up theories is like torture. Making up theories is best because you are bringing out what's inside, right? Because what do you read? Everything that you read is something that someone thought. So it's kind of like the same thing. So you being able to think for yourself might be better. Yes, reading is also good because it can help you bring out what's hidden inside you, right? Like when I watch other people's videos, most of the time, I'm even when I'm paying attention to what they're saying, but it's me who's interpreting what they're saying and who's coming up with my own insights, you know, rather than just listening. So when they say something, it makes me realize something or make me remember something. So yeah, reading is good, but it doesn't mean that you must not come up with your own theories. I'll be back in a second, guys. Let's just keep on liking the life. We're on 67 now. Let's keep on liking the life. Thank you guys for your patience. But yeah, guys, there's so much that we don't know about the world, so much that we don't know. And the more you try to know, the more you realize how much you don't know or how much you cannot know. That's what's crazy. So it's always been crazy to me that people have felt comfortable having children, bro. I remember I've debated with many Christians and asked them a very simple question, which is that, look, if you are a Christian, it also means that you believe that hell exists, right? You believe that there is a hell, and people who don't believe in your God will go to hell. That's what you genuinely believe. But if that's true in your reality, don't you think that having a child is putting them in a very serious risk, especially considering the fact that the Bible says there isn't that many people who are going to make it to heaven? It's like, how would you feel if you brought a child into this world and that child ended up in hell? Remember, that child didn't ask to be created. You know what I'm saying? And the Bible doesn't say that you are sinning if you don't create a child. So you could just worship your God and be like, you know what, I'm not going to put my children through that. Like, it makes complete sense, right? It's the right way to think. It's the most logical way to think when you think thoroughly. And that is why I trust myself more. I think rationally most of the time. I think a lot of people don't think rationally about things. There are things that are just obvious. And when you think, honestly about these things, everyone will like reach the same conclusions, right? But it doesn't happen that way. So I think not that many people are able to think deeply about life itself. And if you are able to, if you are able to think for yourself, if you are able to ask the right questions and make the right conclusions, keep on doing that without feeling ashamed of yourself, without feeling like there is something wrong with you because you are different. Never feel like that. Just know that this world is full of people who cannot think like you can. It's just how it is. We would have wanted to be in a world that's different, where everyone is able to think, because our experience as a collective would have been much better. It's not like that. It's really not like that. So I think you mustn't be ashamed for being able to think the way that you are able to think. And you must not let other people make you feel bad for not wanting to have children because you think the world is bad. It really does feel like a hell realm, bro. Jesus came to wake us up from the matrix, not to die for our sins. I mean, if he came to wake us up from the matrix, where is the dude when it actually matters? Like, where is he? Listen, people writing stuff down isn't proof of anything. Dude could have appeared in 1980, before we had artificial intelligence, before we knew about CGI and all of that. And he could have appeared on the news and actually told us what is actually going on, but he didn't. He just chose to rely on the book. And what do you think is the point of him hiding for so many years only to come back in the end? Sounds like a game or a mind game. You know what I'm saying? Like, we need to be honest and stop making excuses for things. He didn't come to wake us up from the matrix. What did he do to wake us up from the matrix? Yeah, I like this comment. People have woken up without Jesus. What's up, Benedict? And I've realized that a lot of suffering comes from our need for entertainment, our need to feel good and be entertained. Leads to all kinds of problems. What do you think? But what would we want at the end of the day? What would we want to have an experience? Would we want to have an experience where we're just experiencing hell 24/7? Or would we want to have an experience where we feel good? Right? I would say, yeah, our suffering comes from attachment more than anything. It's you being too attached to things, right? Maybe we should realize that even if we want to feel good all the time, but it's not really possible. It's not really like that. So we should learn to detach ourselves, especially from experiences that are making us feel bad. But I wouldn't say that it's a bad thing to want entertainment. It's a bad thing to want to be happy or to want to feel good. Because why wouldn't you want to feel good? Of course, as a sentient being, you must want to feel good. You must want to experience what you want to experience. Like, there's nothing wrong with wanting to experience what you want to experience. Like, wanting to experience what you want to experience is part of being human at the end of the day. So you mustn't think that that is a bad thing. Because how are you going to live? Let's just say you don't want entertainment. Today the network is not really on our side, guys. The network is not really on our side. Every time when I do a live, there will be people who will be talking about women. Why are we talking about men and women? Solitude is necessary. I think humans want to socialize, like naturally they want to socialize, they want to have friends, they want to have community. But looking at how things work now, then solitude actually makes sense. It sucks having friends now because friends, like most of the people that I know who say that they're friends with someone, they talk bad about them, and I don't understand why. It's like your friends are your enemies. I've never understood that, bro. Like, you're like, okay, yes, they chill together and all of that, but it's like they don't really love each other genuinely. They're gossiping about each other. Uh, you listen to someone talking about their friend saying, that one, man, that one is very stupid, man. We know what he did. He had this girl from this place, and that girl was good for him, but then now he's with the other girl, and the girl is not good for him. Man, that one. And you're like, that's your friend. You know what I'm saying? Like, you are destroying their reputation, and you feel that is good. That's how it is, bro. That's how friendships are these days. And I don't know if it's always been like that, because it might have always been like that. So people, if they prefer being alone, I don't blame them at all. The less people know about you, the better. If you are alone and you just do your own thing, and like, you know what, people knowing too much about me might make my life much worse, and having fake people around me might make my life much worse. Because people are not as good as they think they are. When they gossip about you, they don't even feel like they're doing something wrong. But if they hear that you gossip about them, they'll be mad, bro. Like, they'll be mad. But when they do it, they don't feel bad at all. That's how it is. It feels like nothing is genuine anymore in this realm, bro. Like, nothing is what it seems. Like, things are actually bad than we think. So I don't think there's anything wrong with being alone, or like just being alone most of the time, trying to figure out what's going on in this world by yourself. I don't see anything wrong with that. In my country, there was this old female cow who got kidnapped by Jamaican scammers because she was told she looked 18. Hey, what's going on? Most friends envy you if you're doing better than them. It's always like that, bro. It's always like that. It's human nature. You can have a trusting friend for 5 years, and then they will switch up, could be jealousy, or they feel you didn't give them enough of your time. Yeah, people have expectations, bro. People have expectations. Like, any person that you interact with, they have expectations. So yeah, and also, if every person is coming from their own world, right? They have their own way to view things, and yeah, they can feel like you didn't treat them the way that they wanted to have been treated, so they're mad at you because of that. It can happen. People can change at any time, bro. But I'm telling you, most people don't really like each other. I've worked so many jobs. Like, when you look at things from the outside, right? You think the people who are working together, they're getting along very, very well. But once you start working with them, and get to be close with some of them, you realize the things they're saying behind each other's back. You're like, damn, this is crazy, because I thought you guys were getting along. I thought you guys were having a good relationship. So it's always like that. And you find that the people who are being, like people that are being talked about, they don't even know that. They don't even realize that. Like if you could hear some of the things that your friends say about you, you'd be shocked. Like you wouldn't even believe. It's how it is in this realm. That's why I say being a loner is actually better, because people talk behind each other's back. I don't know if they're doing it for fun, or if it's just jealousy, or if it's just hatred. It's like once a person gets to know you and gets close to you, and they see your strength and they see your weaknesses, they don't want things to truly work out for you, bruh. Especially if there's nothing they can benefit from that. Like they automatically want to compete with you. You see, the people who know you are the people who are competing with you. The people who don't know you, if they see you doing very well in life, they don't really care. It's like, yeah, you're doing well, so what? But the people who know you, the people that you've known your whole life, because they've been competing with you their whole lives, they feel bad. So they want to bring you down. And sometimes people, when they gossip about you, they don't even know it's jealousy. They just think you are just wrong. Like what you've done is wrong. So that's why they're gossiping. And they feel totally justified to gossip. And you find that no, they're just jealous, but they're not self-aware. That, like, you know what I'm saying? They don't understand themselves enough to even realize that no, they're gossiping about you because they're jealous, or they're gossiping about you because they want to feel better about their own lives. Because sometimes that happens. You find that a person talks shit about you so that they can feel better about their own life, so that they can feel better about their own mistakes. You see, a person can talk bad about someone's mistakes, not because those mistakes are the worst mistakes that a person can make, but because they want to feel good about the mistakes that they have made. Like, okay, that other person also have made mistakes, and maybe these mistakes, I wouldn't make these mistakes, so I'm better because I wouldn't make these mistakes. It's crazy, bro. But being a loner, it's not a bad thing, bro. Like never ever feel bad or guilty for being a loner in a world like this. We're not talking about a world where people genuinely love each other. I've already explained to you that no one can love another person, because what we want is to feel good. So if I feel good around the person, I will say I love them. But if I stop feeling good around them, then what happens? Right? So love, what we call love, is feeling good around the person. So if I feel good around the friend, then I'll say I love that person. But if I stop feeling good, let's just say maybe that friend becomes sick and they can no longer entertain me the way that they used to, and I stop feeling good around them, I would think that I don't love them anymore. Do you see how it works? Your girl, she leaves when when she's no longer feeling good around you, right? And she feels good around someone else. So how is that love? She can leave you stranded, bro. Like when I think about some of the worst breakups that I've experienced, I'm like, was that even like, because I used to believe in love growing up, like, you know what I'm saying? But then you look back and you're like, that wasn't it, not even close. Because if it was love, when you need love the most is when you get it the most. Like for an example, let's say you have a job and you're doing very well, and there are people who feel good around you, and then you lose your job. You're no longer doing well, they no longer benefit the way that they were benefiting, and they all leave. How is that love? They don't love you, they just love how they feel around you. So because you stop making them feel good around you, then they all leave. And it's always like that. It's always been like that. It's crazy, bro, how this realm works. We say love is just happy chemicals released in the brain. Very intelligent dialogue here. Thank you. No, thanks for joining. Have you seen the show Death Note? I think you like it. Really good show. Yeah, try to comment on the actual, like after the live, so that I can remember. You said it's Death Note. Because yesterday I was looking for something that I can watch, but I didn't find anything. So yeah, I would like to watch some really good TV series. I like to watch things that help me think. There's a reason why I like shows like Black Mirror. Shows like Atlanta. I like watching shows that are mind bending, not just something for fun and entertainment. I'll be back in a second, guys. We're on 81 likes. No, thank you, guys, because I think last time when I spoke about likes, we were on 60 something. So, thank you, guys. Let's keep on liking this live. Yeah, let's try to reach 100. Thank you, guys. I'll be back in a second. Thank you guys for your patience. Like I keep on saying, I want more and more people to send me an email, so that because there will be a live that I will do. In fact, tomorrow on the live that I'll do, I will send you all guys the link so that you can join. So send me an email. It's bfamforever@gmail.com. bfamforever@gmail.com. So send me an email. Just tell me that I must send you the link when I do the live that I want everyone to be a part of. I think it will be very interesting. So yeah, just send me. You can actually send me now so that I can send you the link. I want as many people to join. I will tell you what time that I will go live tomorrow, so we can have a discussion. There's a lot that we can talk about. So I think it's good that we connect that way. Like have real deep conversations about things. It will really be interesting, and that's how I want it to be. Like I want us to have conversations regularly. I don't want this channel to just be me talking all the time. I want people to also be able to share their thoughts, with everyone else. Someone says sickness is not interruption of health. Health is an interruption of sickness. That sounds deep, and I would like you to, explain more. Like, I would like you to elaborate more. Like, what do you mean that health is is an interruption? So you're saying that, in other words, you're saying that the world itself is sick. So when it's in good health, that's an interruption. Like when things are going well, that's an interruption. Like what we must expect is the worst things. So when good things are happening, that's more like an interruption. Is that what you're saying? Because that's kind of deep, bro. Because sometimes it kind of feels that way. It's like when your life is so bad, it feels like when good things happen, that's not supposed to happen. That feels unusual. That feels unfamiliar. You're like, something is wrong here because I'm not used to this. Ever felt guilty for feeling good? Like if you feel good one day, you're like, I'm feeling good, but then you feel guilty as well because you're not used to that. You're used to not feeling good. You're used to feeling bad. You know. Do you think it's possible to reach a stable state of happiness without any external stimulation, or happiness and enjoyment always dependent on your external situation? I don't think as long as you are in this realm where you are experiencing things that seem to be external, I don't think it's possible to reach happiness from just you thinking right, like just you thinking, and you just make yourself happy by just thinking. I think you rely on external things to make you happy because you are not really living in your head. Like it doesn't feel that way. You automatically rely on things that are happening outside of you. That's why people get bored when they're meditating, or they get bored when they're alone and not going out at all. That's why people hate, prisoners don't like being in solitary. The reason is that they expect happiness from external sources than just their own minds, just them thinking. Is it so? I wouldn't say it's possible. I think you rely on external things for happiness, and there's a problem. So what you do is you try to detach yourself as well as possible, so that I'm coming back. No, my ringtone is Conor McGregor's song, so I don't want to get copyright problems. So you you automatically rely on external things to feel happy. So there's the thing. So I would say the best thing that you can do. So I would say the best thing that you can do is detach yourself from things, because a lot of things that are happening are not making people happy. That's the problem. So things happen, but they don't make us happy, right? Like always things are happening, but how often do we experience things that make us happy? Like it's the rarest thing ever actually to experience things that actually make you happy. I know that people will say, no, you must rely on yourself. You must, happiness is internal. Like happiness comes from you. It's not true. You are there's a reason why you expect happiness from external sources, is because that's where happiness comes from. It cannot come from you. It doesn't work that way. You are having an experience here. You are not, listen, when you get hungry, no matter how hard you try to make yourself happy, you're not gonna be. You're hungry. You need to eat. You're gonna rely on external sources. You get what I'm saying? It's just how it is naturally. So it might sound like it enlightenment to say, hey, you can find happiness from external sources, but that's not how it works. I'll be back in a second, guys. Let's keep on liking the life. don't emotionally invest in anything, not politics, culture, people, it only produces more loosh. Everything is selfish anyway. So just be selfish and live for yourself. No, I think that's true. I think the more we take things seriously, the more we suffer, right? But if you try your best to detach yourself, then you feel better. So that's your job basically, is to be as detached as possible from things, especially politics, especially entertainment. I think those things, these weird things that be happening that you're seeing on the news, those are the things that are meant to make you produce lush. Like in South Africa, I told you guys that um there are taxis that are being burned, right? Because there's a beef between taxi drivers and Uber drivers. It's very concerning, but I think people need to remain as detached as possible. It's good to try what we can to solve the problems that we have, but without being too emotionally invested, because that's where suffering comes from. Like, nothing is going to make you suffer unless you are emotionally invested in it. So that's what I've noticed, and that's how it's always been. So it's true. It's funny to me that every life people come and preach about Islam and Christianity on this channel. The good thing is that I haven't seen that today. I was not seeing every comment because I'm using my phone and it's kind of like far from me. But it's weird. I don't know if they're trolling or it's just them trying to convert me, or convert you guys. I don't know. Most Christians I've had contact with in this life have no explanation to the world outside of their locality. Is it cool in Africa? Yeah, but a lot of people will become very religious. Are people who don't know a lot about anything really. They know a lot about what they are told. They never try to think outside the box and know how other people think or how other religions are. It's always been like that. I always tell Christians that, yo man, like, if you've never if you've never came across Christianity and they taught you about another religion, that will be the religion that you believe in, because you've never tried to question your religion in the first place, right? Someone says they like the blue jacket. Yeah, it's dope. I like this one. They don't think outside of the box. Let's see. They don't think outside the box or double check what they are being told. They just regurgitate. That's why people believe there's NPCs. It's like, how is that even possible? Like, how is that even possible? Because you must be able to think outside the box. You must be able to ask questions. You must be able to see if you're being lied to, if you're being manipulated. Yeah, thank you guys for this life that we've had. Yeah, the next live that I want to do it with yo guys. So like I told you, that my email is bfamforever@gmail.com, bfamforever@gmail.com. I would like people to join, so send me an email. There's already been people who have sent me emails, so send emails as well. We'll see how many people YouTube is gonna allow, so yeah. So on our next live, I would like to have like different people, like us having conversations like that. So it's gonna be like that. Let's like the live. I think we're on 90 likes, so let's just keep on liking the live. And yeah, if you haven't watched, if you've just joined, just watch from the beginning. The video was more about antinatalism than anything, but of course I had to read the comments and respond to the comments. So thank you all guys for joining, and thank you all for watching until the end.